Okay, so welcome everyone. This is our weekly team huddle. This is being recorded, and we're just excited to have you on tonight. For timestamp purposes, this is February 17th of 2019. And my name is Missy Hides. If you don't know who I am, or if maybe this is your first huddle, and I'm an independent consultant and executive regional vice president with Arbonne, and this is a team huddle for my region as well as Lori Huffman's region. And so tonight what we're going to do is I'm actually going to have Lori start the call off for us. For those of you that maybe are new or you're watching the recording, yesterday we just had Lori's car presentation for her and her team, and celebrated all that here in Louisville, Kentucky. And it was so fun. Like, I just kept kind of reliving it last night and thinking, oh, it's been so fun. My office her husband was so generous and sent all of the balloons home from the event with my children. So my office is full of gold and green stars, and RVP letters are floating around my office right now. But really, I want Lori to just share kind of the experience from her view, because I think it's so important for us to really see it before we see it, and we have to speak it before we see it. And I know that Lori did that, and I can say for me, from my vantage point, I knew this day was coming when I signed up in my business 14 years ago. Did I think that it would take 14 years? Gosh, no. I never did. I never saw my journey kind of being this really squiggly, all over the place journey, but I am grateful for it. I'm grateful for all that I've learned. I'm grateful for all that I've taken in, and I feel like because of everything that I've learned, I, from my experience in my hindsight, can really be your all's foresight and shorten that learning curve. I don't believe that any one of you are going to have to be on a 14-year journey before you promote your first VP. Absolutely not. I feel like my journey is going to kind of have this curve to it. And now we're at this place where it's going to approach this kind of like hockey stick curve. And we're just going to see really explosive growth and a ripple effect like never before. And so I'm going to ask Lori to unmute and just share on that. And then when she's done sharing, I do have a training for tonight that I do think I know is important and valuable. And so I'm excited to share that when Lori's done. So Lori, take it away.
Okay. All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
You good? All right. Yep. Again, my name is Lori Huffman. I'm a new regional vice president. And yeah, so the event was amazing as I expected it and envisioned it. And I know I mentioned this a couple times that day at the training and also on stage, that I had attended 3 past car parties. And I think the first time when you're newer to Arbonne, you get this sense that you're just going to another event. And I was, I think, about 3 or 4 months in my business when I went to the first car party. And I think it's such a big, important thing for people to see one firsthand. Even if you're not able to be one, go get on YouTube and look at a bunch of different car parties. I will tell you, I've watched a lot. And early on, it is a feeling, it is a belief builder that you cannot even envision. Because what you start to do is you start to envision in your mind what it is that you want for your own. First of all, it's kind of a testimony of that it's possible, that it's actually real, because then you see it and not just hear about it. I think it was Cecilia Stoll that talked about early on in her business that she was talking about this free white Mercedes, but she had never seen one. She never saw a party. She never saw one on the road. So I think part of that, actually seeing is believing, is important for your brain to process that. So when you do that, when I think about the car party, it was exactly kind of what I saw and what I suspected, because I had played it in my mind so many times. And it was sometimes when I had no close to promotion levels, but I envisioned it and I pictured it. I think it's the same thing we hear a lot of little girls grow up playing wedding and doing those things. You play that in your mind, and your mind goes to work to do those things. And that's the case. And so I feel like my car party, as awesome as it was, and it was kind of like a wedding reception or a big party or event that you plan, and it's a little overwhelming, and you're pulled in a zillion directions because you're wanting it to go off smooth for other people. But it should be kind of what you've already pictured in your mind when you get there. So it felt like almost like a replay of what I had been replaying in my mind. And so I think it's important to think through those things, actually envision it. Who's going to, when you think of your party, when you get to RVP, when you get the Benz Bash or the car presentation, whatever you want to call it, who's going to be there? Picture yourself on the stage. Who is going to be in the audience? Who is going to be there? Is it going to be your family? Is it going to be extended family? Is it going to be your team? Who do you picture as your team in those chairs? And a little tip, if you see and your team, and a lot of your team has maybe been absent or, disconnected or anything like that, if you can't picture them there, then that's a sign that you need to keep looking to build your team, to be looking for new people. So who's going to be there? Who's speaking? I knew exactly who I wanted to be speaking at my car party like a year and a half ago. I already in my mind, I thought about the people in our specific team and in our downline and all those things. Who is going to be speaking? What are they going to say? What part are they going to be doing? And, obviously when the time came, I rethought it and just made sure that's kind of what I envisioned, but think through that. Where are you going to have it? You may not have all the details, but have in your mind, like, there's a lot of different styles of car parties. I've seen some that were a little bit more like a barbecue fun thing. And I saw something at Mercedes-Benz dealerships. And I saw some at venues like the one that I had. That's the beauty of it. You get to pick what you want and what suits you and your style or whatever, but you get to picture that. Write down those details, because it's like anything. When you think of something, what you think about, you bring about, and it will get you that much closer to that if you envision that. Just going through a few notes that I jotted down in the car. So, think through all those things. What does your car look like? What type of car do you picture parked up there? You're going to drive an SUV. Is it going to be a sedan? Is it going to be new? Is it going to be used? Have you picked that out? Have you shopped for your Benz? Have you pictured yourself driving one? So I know sometimes, we've talked about vision boards, and sometimes it feels a little hokey, but I think it's important to think through those things so it makes it more real for you. And if you've ever listened to the book Mach 2, that's the book that there's a group called RVP by GTC. They're working together to read through that. And I know we recommend a lot of books, but I will tell you that one is a really good one, because he speaks very directly. If you can download the Audible through Audible app, download it so you can hear his voice and you can hear the conviction and you can hear the challenges that Richard Blissbrook had. So I think that's a really good one. And I was thinking through this today. If you missed the team huddle from last week, I'm pretty sure it was last week, Missy, she spoke truth and straight and direct, and maybe it's hard to hear. And if it's hard to hear, then maybe there's some truth and something that you need to work on internally. But I feel like that was a great kick in the butt. And it is so true. There are so many things that I feel like I wish I could just really clearly document exactly what I did differently. But I will tell you, the one feeling I had during those months from going from, July to November is I felt ridiculously obsessed. And that's the only word that I could logically put around it, that I thought about Arbonne. I dreamt about Arbonne. I thought about names. I wrote down names. You have to kind of mentally prepare yourself, and you have to mentally prepare your spouse or your significant other or your children, because it is a true season of imbalance. And I love that Arbonne was the only avenue and company or group that I ever heard that success has to happen in an imbalanced period. Like, balance is kind of a false, like, we hear a lot about that work-life balance. I'm trying to balance. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in Arbonne. I don't think I've ever seen anyone truly be in balance for a long period of time, because it is kind of like juggling balls. And I chose for a complete run at it as hard as I could, imbalance, needing, as they joked, I heard some VPs tell me, you may need to buy more underwear. And at first I was like, what are they talking about? It is true, because laundry goes the wayside, dishes go the wayside, my office, even till now, is a complete state of chaos, which drives me crazy. But when I know if I had time to organize, I'm not doing the right things. I'm not focused towards IPA. So you have to get obsessed for that season, because most of us know what we're supposed to be doing. And I have days, sometimes I've had weeks like that where I know I should be doing it. But when I was in that season from really July and closer to more August, October, I never had to think about Arbonne. It was only the things that I needed to be doing to catch up on my list of things that I had to do. It wasn't I should be doing this, I should be doing this, I should be doing this. It never crossed my mind at all from August to October, because I was doing it. There was no telling myself or coaching myself or regretful feelings. I was completely obsessed. And the only stressful part I had was trying to either talk my husband down off the ledge or trying to schedule very purposeful time for my kids and those things. And it was just a season. I will say, I think it was about a year and a half ago, there was at one point that Deanna, before I kind of really decided to dig in because I wanted to be able to step away from my job, I was able to have a phone call with Dr. Deanna Holdren. And I asked her, like, point blank, because we hear a lot of good coaching and a lot of good information, but I said, I needed the how, like, what did you do? And she said, you just have to get super efficient with your time. And Missy said it great last week. And it's just like, it's true. If you're caught up on a Netflix series, then you're probably not doing enough. If you're getting a full 8 to 10 hours of sleep every night, you're probably not doing enough. I know it's hard to hear that, but it's true. You have to really look at, how does my life look, and is it imbalanced enough? And it's not forever. It is. And I will tell you, the best part is it sounds like, oh my gosh, she's like talking crazy. Like, I don't want to live like that. I didn't either, but I will tell you, it was the most fun I've ever had the whole 3 years I was in Arbonne. And you can ask, I don't know if Edie's on your camera's off, but we said, like, how much fun that was during that time. And then when we were done, we were like, oh, whoa. So I know, like, even now in this season, like, my goal is to be MVP, and I definitely want to rip the Band-Aid off. And I'm mentally gearing up and knowing when it starts to happen, it is going to be a full out sprint, pure exhaustion. But when I get there, it's going to be glorious. And I know the only way I can get there is that I have multiple team members getting there first. And so if it means us speaking hardcore truth on a team huddle, then that's what we're going to do, because it's going to feel really not fun. There's days that I'm just like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But when you get there and you look back, and I looked out in that crowd and I was like, wow, this is what I worked for. And I knew it was coming, but I had to just run for it as hard as I could. And that's all I can say. That's the only difference that I did. I finally just said, I'm just going to listen to everything. I'm going to do everything I can, so I don't have 1 second in my brain to be telling me I should be doing this. I ought to be doing this. I need to be doing this. Like, there was no time for that, because I was doing all of it in a very short time. So I think that's like my very blunt, like, literally I have adrenaline flowing right now because I'm a little nervous that I'm talking this direct to everyone. But, and Deanna said it as well, like, even at the car presentation, we were talking a little bit, and she said, that's the one thing, if we could just somehow figure out that everyone that's new, explain to them, it is about momentum. I remember Missy describing, like, when you launch something really fast and hard, takes a whole lot of energy all at once. So you can do 12 events in a 6-month period, or you can do it in a month. And if you just happen to do that month after month after month, you will get there, because that's exactly what the young millennials are doing. That's what the Peyton Schneider's doing, and that's what all these gals are doing. They're just doing it hard and fast in the beginning, and they're so new, they don't even know that it's insane, right? They don't even know that the imbalance is there. They're looking back and they're like, wow, we did this, and this is awesome, and we were successful. And I think that's what it is. It's just not overthinking it and just doing it hard and fast right out of the gate. And so if you've been in the business for a long time, And I was kind of doing the thing. I was, I had team members coming on consistently over 2 years, but it wasn't until I decided to just rip that Band-Aid off and just say, I'm tired of thinking about this, and I'm just going to run at it as hard and fast as I can. And I remember talking to my kids. I remember talking to Danny, my husband, and saying, this is going to suck. It's going to suck for a short time, and I'm going to go as hard and fast as I can to make it suck less. But it was just that short season. And so that's all I can say. I guess the event was awesome, but it was exactly what I pictured in my mind because I had pictured it, envisioned it. So I recommend envision it. Don't spend a time planning and doing all that stuff. No, you got to stick to the income producing activity, IPA, but envision it when you're daydreaming about picture that, but then say, yes, I'm going to go to work to get that. And just rip off the Band-Aid and go for it.
That's awesome.
That's all I got.
I love that. Well, and it's funny because I think as you're talking about making dream boards, I think some of the Minnesota team right now is making some dream boards as they're on the call tonight. I think they are gathered making some dream boards, which is so fun. And if that's one of the reasons why we take pictures at the Mercedes events, that's, and if you're like, well, you can go to the nearest Mercedes dealership to you, or you can take somebody's picture off Facebook and tape your face over it. You can do those things to start to really envision it. Another thing that we got at the Bash and Nash training was recording ourselves, talking to ourselves and really speaking out our vision and then sharing it with somebody. And so I did that. I talked about walking the stage at GTC as a new national vice president and what it's going to feel like. And it can feel hokey in the moment. It can feel like, oh my gosh, this is so weird. I've never done, I'm talking to myself, but we tell ourselves what to think. And then I listen to it, over and over and over again. And so I think that that's so great. One thing I want to touch on is I didn't think about it, Lori, until you were sharing. But I've heard this a lot in Arbonne, but it's so true. And we're 90 days from a different business. And Lori's story is not the exception to that. She was 90 days from a different business. Her business was not in a great place in July. In August, she decided that she wanted a different business. And the chaos that she's just been talking about occurred in September, the end of August. It started, I was watching it started the end of August, and it really came to a peak in September and October, and they wrapped it up in November. And that was it. Not to say, well, that was all they did, but that was it, you guys. It was a 90-day difference of a business. And you can absolutely do that. So if you're a consultant and you're like, I am so tired of not being a district manager yet, you're 90 days from a different business. And what it takes to get to district manager is not what it takes to get to regional vice president. You're not going to have to go buy new underwear. You're not going to have to sit your family down to go district manager. You're not. You can be a district manager with a season of chaos over the next 2 weeks. That's what that looks like. So a 90-day difference, we're talking about really investing in this, because after 90 days, Lori was getting a paid for Mercedes. Lori was getting a great paycheck. Lori had tripled the size of her team. Lori was helping more people. It's not just I'm getting the next promotion. It's I'm starting to really change the landscape of my business, which in turn changes the landscape of my life and our decisions and our choices. And so that's so important. So Lori really didn't know what I was going to train on tonight, but this is a perfect segue. She really set us up for what I'm going to train on. So this is the training part. If you want to take some notes, I always recommend taking notes because you're always going to retain more than just what you hear. And there's going to be things for you that stick out that are different for other people. But I put some notes on my phone, and I want to just talk about the ripple effect for the next few minutes. Because we all know that sponsoring is key, right? We know that. We have been told that. If that hasn't been communicated yet to you, you are in a network marketing business. And so sponsoring is what we do. We're not in a direct sales company. A direct sales company is like a 31 Gifts or a Pampered Chef, where yes, they have the network marketing component, but they earn the majority of their income on selling product. That's why you can sit and you can have, a gal who does 31 gifts, and she can be like, oh, I earned $3,000 in my first 90 days. And you can be the Arbonne consultant being like, I haven't earned $3,000 in the last 30 months or whatever it is. But it's because it's a direct sales business. But many times after those first 90 days, jewelry is the same way. First 90 days, 120 days, they've tapped out of their market. Everybody has the bags. Everybody has the jewelry. Everybody has the cookware. And they don't have the capacity to really build a network marketing business. We have the advantage of having both. It's called a hybrid, okay? So what is so important for you to understand is the sponsoring component. And what we often forget, and this is what we're going to be talking about tonight, is we often forget to take it a step further, and we need to help those we just sponsored sponsor. They need to be sponsoring within 24 hours of them getting their account, or 48 hours. Because the longer we draw out from when someone signs up and someone gets their first sign up, the belief dwindles, the energy dwindles, the thought of, will anybody ever join my team, dwindles, right? And then it's hard to feel like, oh gosh, like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get past a team of one. And Lori said it very, perfectly a few minutes ago. It's about creating enough momentum and energy in a short amount of time so that we can get those results. Because you can get in front of 40 people over 3 months, or you can get in front of 40 people really now with technology and social media in 3 days. You just get to decide what the pace is going to be. So if you're brand new, you're in an advantage because you're hearing this. And so you kind of know, these are my marching orders. This is what I need to do. If you've been in Arbonne for a little bit and you're like, well, crap, I've been in Arbonne 6 months or 12 months or, maybe a couple of years and I don't really have a team. I haven't really sponsored. You might be feeling like, did I miss the boat? No. Guess what? Tomorrow's Monday. You get to start all over. That's what I love about this business. I love that we get a new month, a new week, a new day, and we always get to just do better than we did today. You're not comparing yourself to Lori. You're not comparing yourself to anybody else on the team. You're just comparing yourself to you. And the measure of growth is, I'm going to do more, and I'm going to grow more, and I'm going to learn more than I did yesterday. That's the measure that you just have to always be gauging yourself at, and nothing else, okay? So that's the power of network marketing, is when we are teaching those that we sponsor to sponsor immediately. Okay, so I've got 3 things. I've got a first, a next, and a last. For those that those are taking notes. So the first thing is you are always going to personally sponsor in this business. You will always personally sponsor. It doesn't matter what level that you're at or where you're at in your business. It doesn't matter what season you're at in your business, whether you're qualifying for a promotion, whether you have been an area manager for 6 months, whether you're trying to help your team promote. It doesn't matter. Even when I was working with Lori and helping them get to region, I was still sponsoring directly. Because that is how this business always goes, is that you're always going to be sponsoring. And then as you get people saying yes, you still keep sponsoring, but then you teach them how to sponsor. But you never want to drop the ball of personally sponsoring, because personally sponsoring is the only thing you actually can control in this business. Because as you start to lead a team, you're leading a voluntary army. Let me just tell you that. This is totally voluntary. Every one of you are on this call because you're choosing to be on this call. You're not on this call because I can fire you, I can demote you, I can penalize you on any level. You're here because you want to be here. So my job as a leader is much more difficult than someone's job as a manager. A manager holds over people penalties, restrictions, things like that. There's nothing that as a leader in Arbonne I can hold over anyone. My job is to model for you and inspire you. And the best way I can inspire you and model for you to sponsor is to sponsor, right? So you will be most successful in sponsoring. I know this is going to sound dumb, when you ask people. We have to ask. And I was in a texting conversation with one of the gals on the team tonight, and she was telling me about this gal that um, she really wants into her business. And I said, have you asked her? Have you asked her directly? And she said, no, like we've done an overview. I know she's thinking about it. And I said, we have to ask directly. Thankfully, I have a great example for the call tonight. She asked her directly. The gal said, yes, she's signing up. We heard in a training yesterday from National Vice President Ashley Stone that most people join the network marketing business or company that they were asked first. That is my story. I wasn't ever asked to join Pampered Chef or Mary Kay or 31 Gifts. No one ever asked me. I never thought, well, that would be something I would like to do, or that could be interesting. I never thought that. Arbonne was presented to me, and I said yes to Arbonne. And for me, I feel like by the grace of God, I was offered Arbonne because maybe I would have said yes to something else, and I wouldn't have been in this company, in this culture. So we have to ask, you have to ask directly. Most people won't come to you and say, hey, I'm ready to join your team. Hey, I've been watching your, Facebook stories. Now we are going to find that a little more with like the Instagram stories and our social media presence, but many times we still have to be putting out to people and asking them if they would like to join us. They need to be invited, you guys. It's human nature to want to be invited. How many times, let's take it outside of the business context. Have you heard of like somebody doing a baby shower or somebody having a class at a gym, and you just hear about it and you're like, gosh, that sounds fun. But you never would think, well, I'm just going to invite myself. I'm just going to initiate and take myself to that class at the YMCA because it sounds fun. Or I'm going to go, join this, paint and wine night because it sounds fun. We don't typically just assert ourselves into situations, but we're very willing to respond to an invitation, right? It's no different than with this business. So people they need to be invited. They don't want to assume that you want them on their team. I've had people before be like, well, I didn't know if I would be good enough, or I didn't know if you thought I could do this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like shame on me that I never communicated to you, like I would love to have you, right? So we got to get better at that. So remember to always be asking and asking people directly. One of the things that I have found very effective in my asking is saying to people, I think you'd be so great at this, or whatever. You have like your part of the conversation of the text. I know we shared the other night, excuse me, I know you came to the car presentation yesterday, whatever that is going to be with that person. But then I say, the consultant account is $49. You will get my training, you will get my partnership, and you will get my partnership, and I will teach and train you how to be successful. What keeps you from saying yes? I would love to partner with you in this business. It's direct, it's simple, it's showing them that the decision is $49, and it's also me uncovering what is keeping them from saying yes. So I say, the consultant account is $49. I'm going to partner with you to teach and train you to be successful. I would love to work with you. What's going to keep you from saying yes? Smiley face. And what it does for them is it makes them really take a step back and think, well, what is keeping me from saying yes? She's going to teach me. She's going to train me. She's excited to partner with me. And oh, by the way, it's $49. And that can help move people from in process with you, swirling around, sitting on the fence of maybe, because you guys, you can't do anything with a maybe. If your contacts are all in the maybe category, you got to push them out, and you got to be okay that you're going to move them into the no column. Everybody's in the maybe, and your job is to keep nobody in the maybe column. They got to go to the no column, and no just means not right now. Circle back with me in 30 days, 30 years, whatever. Or the yes column. And you have to have belief enough that the right people are coming into your team, that you are okay to get them out of the maybe column and into the no column. Too often we leave people in the maybe column because it makes us feel like, well, at least there's somebody in process. At least there's somebody maybe, hopefully, contemplating joining me in this business, and we hold on to the maybes, and we can't do jack crap with a maybe. They're not signing up. We're not launching them. We're not partnering with them. They're just taking up space in our time, in our minds, thinking we're going to do something, and you can't do anything with a maybe. So you need to be brave enough to say, it sounds like this. Like if you ask somebody what I just said, it's $49. I'm going to partner with you. I'm going to teach and train you to be successful. I would love to have you in my business. What keeps you from saying yes? And they give you 4 reasons why. You respond with, girl, I totally get it. It sounds like this isn't the right season for you. Is it okay if I circle back with you in a couple months we can revisit it? In the meantime, I'd love to get you set up on some products. Be willing to move people into that no column of the business and get them out of that maybe column. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second is we want to be painting the vision for people when we sign them up. So I just looked back. Shoot, I don't have my numbers in front of me, but I think to date, for the month of February so far, we brought on 20 new consultants in this team. That's killer. We got some of you ladies are killing it. Alicia, she's killing it. This girl, Katie, down South Dakota, I call her #grocery girl. She's the cutest. She's killing it. Okay, they're killing it in the sponsoring department. So we have good sponsoring numbers, but what we want to be doing is we want to continue to increase that. And what we want to do is we want to paint the vision. Sorry, I'm trying to read notes off my phone. We want to paint a vision for them of their business is going to consist of a lot of people doing a little. It's a lot of people doing a little. A nation is 64 people each doing $2,500 a month in sales. We can wrap our mind around $2,500 in sales. That's not hard. That's like what, 8 nutrition sets-ish? We have 64 people. They're not all direct to us. Remember this is a network. That is what it takes to be a national vice president, making on average $20,000 to $25,000 a month with a $1,000 car bonus for a Mercedes. Wrap your mind around that. So you want to teach people, it's not about you going out and selling. It's about you sponsoring. So we want to help them in those first 24 hours, make their 100 name list. If they're at 40 people and they're like sweating to get past 40, start with their first 40 and say, assume everyone is going to say yes to this business, but if you only ever get to sponsor directly 10 people to you, who are those 10 people going to be? And that's where you guys are going to start immediately with people. As the sponsor, if you have somebody running and they're texting you and they're messaging you, you match that effort. Don't delay it and don't be like, oh, we're really busy with family stuff this weekend. I can, get to your top 10 in 5 days. If you can't get to their top 10 people because of your own personal schedule, you go up the team line. That's when you call your district manager or your area manager or your VP, or then it's me. And if you can't get a hold of me, then you're going to call Linda, and then you're going to call Deanna, and you're going to find somebody and say, I got a girl who's got 10 people ready to hear about this business, and none of these yahoos between me and you can tell her. Somebody needs to help me, or you send them some videos, but you work with that intensity. And I love it because Lori shared this and she didn't even know I was going to say this, but you have got to paint a vision for them. The most loving thing we can do for new people is to help them get temporarily obsessed with Arbonne. It's temporary. Please hear me. There are personalities out there and they're like, I'm not going to get obsessed with anything but my family and Jesus. I get it. But for 90 days, teach people how to get temporarily obsessed with Arbonne. It doesn't become like, when I say obsessed, I mean you're painting a vision for them that they don't want to watch Netflix over building their business. They don't want to just read the really good novel that they've been involved in. They want to do the business. They're excited about it. They can't stop thinking about it. They're on YouTube watching videos. They're absorbing. They're texting you. Why you want to do that is because time is an illusion in this business, you guys. There's a reason people like Mariah Gruner are going to NVP or to RVP in 7 months or 4 months, whatever it was, and national vice president in less than a year. Time is an illusion. She just has gotten temporarily obsessed with Arbonne and sharing it and giving the gift. And do you think after a year of really just hustling in her business, she's going to look back and be like, oh, I wish I would have taken longer. I wish I would have been slower with this business. I mean, I wish I really would have drawn out my success train. No. So we have to get temporarily obsessed. Casey DeLessio, for those of you that weren't at the training on Saturday, and I've heard this, obviously I've known Casey for over a decade, but when she said it again, I thought, that is what being temporarily obsessed looks like in our month. The month that she was sponsored, and please hear me, this was back in 2005. This is pre-social media. This is pre-texting. This is pre-YouTube videos. This is pre-Arbonne Crazy Momentum Growth. She was the 11th consultant in a line of consultants sponsored. Look back in your own business, if you've been in Arbonne for a little bit, and look back at how many generations deep you've gotten in 1 month. Most of us, I'm going to guess, never have gotten past 3 generations, meaning somebody sponsored, you sponsored somebody, and they sponsored somebody, and they sponsored somebody. She was 11 down. That means, if you don't know what that means, it means the girl that got signed up, and I think she signed up in October. Girl signed up beginning of October. Casey was signed up and was in area manager qualification by Halloween. Okay, so I think she signed up maybe around the 10th of October. So in the first 10 days of October, they had a gal who signed up, a gal who signed up, a gal, and a gal, and a gal, and a gal. 11 down, we get to Casey. Okay, all that is ignorance on fire. They didn't know jack crap about what they were talking about in Arbonne. They didn't. I mean, they just knew you buy 2 gold skincare sets and you go find 2 other people that want to do the same thing. That was the business strategy back then, right? So there was no nutrition. There wasn't 30 days to healthy living. So why I'm sharing that is it was just simply ignorance on fire and helping people connect the dots, that it's not simply about selling, but it's about sharing and building a network. So when you are sponsoring people, and even when you're prospecting and you're talking with them, you're always saying things like, who do you want to do this with you? Who needs this opportunity like you do? Who loves nutrition and health and, lowering toxin exposure for their family and their friends? Who do you know that just simply wants more choices? And move it past, I'm so excited to have you on the team. I'm so excited to help you be successful. You switch it to the conversation of, I'm so excited to help you help other people. That's the conversation. That's the tone, is I'm so excited to help you help some other people this month, because ideally you want to get your new consultants not only in qualification for district, but you want them in qualification for district with a consultant in qualification for district. We are doing people a disservice if we're sponsoring them into Arbonne and we're ending the month with them at a 0, or we're ending them at the end of the month at $700 in QV. There is no reason that new consultants who are choosing to do this as a business, and hear me, you are going to sponsor people that will get the consultant account and they're not doing the business. They might say they want to do the business, but within the first 5 days, you will know. And again, you have to be honest with yourself. Do they really want to do the business? Because if after 5 days, you're not launching with them, you're not hearing from them, they're not giving you their 100-name list, they're not going through the getting started step, they're not ready to get started. And that's okay. Love them where they're at. Lori did not come out of the gate running and gunning. It took her a little bit of time. So you love them where they're at, but you have to know if after 5 days you're not launching somebody if they haven't gone and gotten started on the getting started steps. You simply got someone who signed up to get a consultant account. So that's also why we're signing up a lot of people, is because for every 3 consultants you sign up, 1 is going to start the business. The other 2 are going to observe, use the products, get into the culture, be a part of us. And we love that. But if you sponsor 1 and you're like, all my chips are in her basket, and after 5 or 10 days, the basket's not moving, you got to go sponsor somebody else. Okay. So we can do that. And the more you sponsor people, like the more you sponsor, the more you can love people. Cause you just get excited about who's working, and those that aren't, it's totally fine. You're just excited to have them. So we want to be getting people that are signing up in qualification. People are signing up, you guys, to do this business because they want a paycheck. They're not signing up to do this business because they're bored, or because they just want to spend $50 for nothing. They're signing up because they want to see a paycheck. So we help them see a paycheck by teaching them how to go multiply themselves out and sponsor immediately. Okay? So we have 20 new consultants right now. At the end of the month, I expect that all 20 not only will be in qualification for district, but they'll have somebody in qualification for district. This business is a service business. This is servant leadership. This means that you will grow when you help other people be successful, and that includes your brand new signups. They're not exempt from this servant leadership. The best thing that you can tell the new consultants on your team is you're going to get successful when you go help a whole bunch of other people be successful. So who can we start with? Who needs to hear about this tonight? And you get started with them immediately. There's a phrase in Arbonne that you want to become a double D superstar. And being someone that's small in that department of bra size, I thought that was so funny, because I'm like, this might be the only time in my life that I'd ever be considered a double D superstar. But what that stands for is that you are a district manager who teaches people how to make district managers. The percentage of the statistic of someone who promotes to district and then promotes somebody to district, the likelihood that they will stay in your business increases by 300%. 300% statistically in Arbonne. If you can teach someone to become a district and then teach them to make a district, so that's a double D, a district who makes a district, that leg of your business, you're shoring that up, you're securing that up, you've increased that likelihood by 300%. That's a good percentage. So that's what we're going to work on as we grow to promote more regions, as we grow to promote more areas in this team, is that's what we're focusing on, is we are going to be sponsoring. And we're going to come alongside those we sponsor and say, we're going to teach you how to sponsor tonight. I know you just signed up. I know you maybe don't even know how to say Arbonne. You say it airborne and you don't even know how to get to your website. I don't really care. We're going to find the first 10 people and we're going to get you started, because you can be the most successful when you start learning how to help other people be successful. Versus we can help you get to district manager. Who can we sell product to? Okay. So first, you're always going to sponsor. Second, when you bring them on. So look at your numbers right now. Look at who you signed up last month. So we're going to go back to January, because we're only in the second month of the year. Go back to all the people you signed up last month. And if they didn't sponsor someone, start there and say, hey, I know you started this business because you want to make a paycheck and you want to promote, and you want to probably at the very least want to have a comment in your paycheck one day, which means getting to area manager. Getting to area manager requires you having a team. So let's get started. I'd love for you to get back to me in 48 hours going through the getting started steps. If after 48 hours you don't hear from them, guess what? Next. You go to the next person and you say, I'm so pumped. I'm so excited. I'm going to teach you how to be successful. In the next 48 hours, text me back with your top 10, and then we're going to get started. If they don't text you back in 48 hours, guess what? Next. That's what this is, right? And if they do, then awesome. You got a running partner. And you start there. And then those people that you bring on, that they bring on, you're going to teach them the same message. And you're going to say, listen, you think you're signing up because you're going to get successful? You're not. You're going to get successful because you're going to go help other people be successful. That's the nature of this business, right? You're building that really, really massive network, and it's done through the sponsoring and helping those you sponsor. I believe that if Casey D'Alessio 12 years ago could be the 11th generation signed up in a business, there is no excuse that that can't happen today. With social media, with videos, with the growth and the rate that Arbonne is at right now. And I will tell you guys, for those that are new or not new, Arbonne is in a season of momentum we have never seen in almost 40 years with this company. There is a wave of promotions, of growth, of insane things happening. It is that hockey stick growth time. And it will happen for those of you, those of us that are out swimming, those of us that are out sharing the story, not those waiting on the side to saying, oh, well, Missy said this before, is the wave really coming this time? Because I don't want to get wet if the actual wave is not coming. This is where you step out and you take a little bit of that step of faith, and you step out and you start doing the do. And if you need to, we talk about all the time, every day's a new day, every week, every month. Just if you're like, okay, I really haven't been doing what she's talking about, what Lori's talking about, go to the unit section of the Facebook team page, pull out the getting started steps. If you need to, make a commitment to yourself on a piece of paper and re-sign up as a consultant. Forget everything that lies behind you and look forward and press on to what lies ahead and start again. Start again. That's the beauty of this business. So does anybody have any questions, comments on that, on the sponsoring, or when we sponsor, helping people sponsor right away? And if you don't, that's totally okay. The last thing that I want to say is we have our next virtual coming up this Wednesday. And I am going to say this and love you guys, but we didn't do a great job this last week getting people invited. Fallon did an incredible job. Killer job. She knocked it out of the park on that virtual, but we didn't have a big showing, okay? And we didn't have a big showing because we just didn't ask enough people. We didn't get enough people invited to the group and enough people invited to the event. These are events for the team. We talked about that when we decided to launch these. This was a commitment we were all making, that we were all going to participate. We were all going to be on live. We were all going to make these successful. And so I'm going to just say that's what we got to do. So it's the group will be up tonight. It's nutrition. The very sweet and talented Jenna Davis of Arkansas is going to be leading it this week. But y'all, everybody needs to hear about 30 days again and again and again, right? It's like Groundhog's Day. Groundhog's Day, that's what our bun is. Just again and again. So the nutrition virtual will be up this Wednesday. And, I want us to get that group to over 250. There's no reason it can't be with the size of team that we have and all the growth that's going on. So, Lori, is there anything else that we need to share before we wrap up tonight? Nope. Good. Okay. All right. Love you all so much. This will be uploaded to YouTube a little bit later, but love you all. Hope you guys have a great night and super pumped for all this to come. Love you. Love you.